Incoming subspace signal.
You are watching Central Valley Geeks. Please welcome our host and resident geeks, Scott and Shawn.
I'm back, baby!
This is the Central Valley Geeks. I'm Scott, that's Shawn. Third video, us wearing the same clothes. Get over it. We're going to talk about Star Wars and Star Wars in general. Tomorrow, as of the day of filming, today is October 2nd, so tomorrow is the finale of Ahsoka. This episode will not be premiering on the 2nd or 3rd or 4th. But hey, just know that we filmed it today.
There you go.
So I'm thinking for our general discussion of Star Wars to actually do it the opposite of how we did Star Trek and focus on the movies instead of the series, because the series are so new. Star Trek was all about series,
Yeah,
and then they've had 12, 13 movies, whatever it is now. But they have so many more series. When it's the other way around, Star Wars since 1977 has been known for their films, and it's
honestly,
just in the last 15 years they've been known for their series.
Even the bad Star Wars movies are still better than some of the good Star Trek movies.
No.
Yeah.
No. The Phantom Menace is not better than
The Voyage Home. Not The Voyage Home, sorry. The one you said earlier, Undiscovered Country.
Well, I said
the motion picture. I love the motion picture. I don't mind the
5 is
Undiscovered
bad.
Country.
Six
just really
is
slow.
I think 6 is Undiscovered Country.
And Generations is just kind of
I
weird.
liked
I
Generations.
liked it too, but it was just still kind of weird.
The Generations was talking
too
Star Wars,
long.
but no. See, I thought it was. I see. Generations was the first Star Trek. Was the first Star Trek movie I saw in theaters,
Oh, okay.
and at that point too, in 1994, I'm gonna be honest, I had never seen a Star Wars movie at that point, except for the Star Wars movies that don't count, those Ewok kid movies.
Well, I've never even seen those. So.
I think there's 1 or 2 of them. I saw those when I was a kid. So the only experience I had with Star Wars until like literally 1997, when Phantom Menace came out, 1997, 98, 99, whenever that was Spaceballs, which is phenomenal. I could do an entire video on Spaceballs and Mel Brooks, and just that movie in general. Spaceballs, the iPad.
Still waiting for the sequel.
We got History of the World Part 2. I only saw a couple of those episodes.
Still waiting. Spaceballs, the sequel. Needs to be named that and everything.
Yeah, he's old. But back to Star Wars. I didn't actually start watching Star Wars until the late 90s. Already Star Trek fan, so I'm a diehard Trekkie. I like Star Wars. I love Star Wars. I love Stargate. And then everything else. I like Lord of the Rings. I like the other nerdy stuff, but like Trek is the number one up there, and then Star Wars and Stargate. I like the stars. I don't know why.
There you
go. I had a really late start to Star Wars. It was actually my neighbor when I was a senior in high school that convinced me to watch the OG trilogy. And I liked it, but again, I was watching movies from the 70s and early 80s. I mean, Return of the Jedi came out the same year I was born, so they're old movies to me. So I watched them as such. I did like Phantom Menace had a bunch of issues, and honestly, the number one issue with the Phantom Menace was George Lucas.
What the midichlorians are you talking about?
George Lucas just, the midichlorians, that was unnecessary. But Jar Jar Binks, if the idea of Jar Jar Binks being a Sith was real, and he didn't stick with it, that was just really bad.
That
on
was
his
such
part.
yeah. That would have been so awesome
Yeah.
for some weird reason. I don't know why.
That would have been great to have seen Darth Jar Jar.
Yeah.
Um,
And his personality completely shift. It would have had to, between the two.
Yeah, he would have. Even Anakin's shift was slower, and
Nah, Anakin's was always there.
Anakin.
The second they didn't free his mom, Anakin was fucking Darth Vader. I don't care.
Well, in the Phantom Menace, they had Darth Vader's silhouette right there, but
He left that planet without his mom. That was dumb. She was still a slave. That made no sense.
it had to in order for him to turn.
No, he could have bought her.
No. I mean,
decided to stay there and still did the whole fucking storyline the same way.
Well, no, if they would have
That's
taken,
just what I'm saying.
If they would have
that's where
taken
he
her.
started. Yeah. No, I don't mean taking her, because they could have just paid her to be free and she could have lived her life with that guy. Like, basically what happened. And then the Sand People could have killed her, just like what happened. But, I'm just saying, like, we got Darth Vader almost immediately with him because of that. That was such a dumb choice on the Jedi and the Jedi.
Well,
And every choice they make in those movies, actually.
yeah, every choice the Jedi Council made in the prequel was pretty bad. Yeah, including the stuff they did in the Clone Wars to Ahsoka, pretty fucked up. But I didn't watch much of the Clone Wars. My favorite prequel movie is actually Revenge of the Sith. At that point, when that movie came out, we actually left the movie theater and went and bought the other 5 movies from Target. Because I didn't own any of the Star Wars movies at that point, but I liked Revenge of the Sith so much, and how they turned him and Ewan McGregor. If there is one thing that you can, if the most positive thing you can say about the prequels is Ewan McGregor.
Oh yeah.
Ewan McGregor. I'm sorry, Alec Guinness. He was good. He didn't like the role, so he wasn't great.
No.
Ewan McGregor was great at the role. He was so good that they had to edit out his pew 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 when he was doing the lightsaber, because he was so used to just making the sounds when he was a kid. Boom, boom, boom. I mean, they had to cut out his awesomeness.
I mean, he also had Liam Neeson with him, though. So
Liam Neeson was great.
Build off of.
Having seen Qui-Gon Jinn as a Force ghost in Kenobi, I really would have liked to have seen him as a Force ghost in, especially Revenge of the Sith, if not the entire prequel trilogy.
Yeah.
But the prequels get a lot of hate, especially from our generation.
I saw the Phantom Menace, not day 1 in the theater, but week 1 in the theater, and I probably saw it 3 or 4 times in the theater. I don't care. I liked it.
But looking back on it from 2023,
no, I still like it. I try to get my kids to watch it so that they'll like it. Like, I don't care.
I'm not saying I don't.
I like it. Okay, see, I haven't watched Solo, and I can still tell you I like it more than that. Just from the reactions I've heard about Solo. How was Solo? I've watched it once.
Solo had so much potential. The problem with Solo was the fact that it came out 6 months after another Star Wars movie.
I honestly just assumed they didn't go far enough with his character, because he was a drug smuggler. He was technically probably did human smuggling, even if he didn't know it. Like, I haven't seen it, but I assume they did not go far enough.
They didn't do anything about human. It was all spice.
That's what I'm saying. So.
And then even when you're watching the Mandalorian and some of and Boba Fett, spice is the main drug. So
yeah, well, and Twi'leks are also shipped a lot.
That's true.
That's what I was getting at.
But in Solo, I've only seen the movie once. I'm probably gonna get some of the stuff wrong. He doesn't have a name. They give the Empire gives him a name because he's trying to get on a ship, and because he doesn't have a last name, they give him the last name of Solo because he's by himself.
That makes sense. That's quite Ellis Island. Like, that's exactly what they did on Ellis Island.
It's still dumb.
Yeah, but it's realistic.
Oh, okay.
100% realistic.
But
do you think people had the name Farmer before they got to Ellis Island? Like, and some of the other names.
All I know is that when my people came over to this country, we had an E at the end of our last name, and now it's gone.
Yeah. Was it Ye Old Shithouse, and then they changed it to what? John?
No, I'm not saying our last names.
I know, I just messed with you.
But I don't know much about the history of Ellis Island, so I can't say much
No,
about
they
that.
would just, if they couldn't pronounce your name, they couldn't spell your name, they'd change it.
I know that's why a lot of slaves have presidential last names like Washington and Jefferson because
Because Washington and Jefferson fucked their slaves and had a lot of kids.
well, there's two reasons. There's that reason, and when the slaves were freed, they just told names that they knew.
Yeah.
But
I love
let's
it.
get out of real history and go back to a galaxy far, far away.
So Key and Peele does a skit about that, and it's hilarious. All right, that's it.
They do a skit about what?
The Washington.
Oh,
thing.
okay.
It's a my ancestry, and everything leads back to George Washington or like one of those. It's hilarious, and yeah,
They tried to do a comedy version of Roots.
kind of. Yeah.
I don't know how well that you
They
know
could
what
do it.
that would be a really fine line to walk.
Without LeVar Burton, it'd be hard.
LeVar Burton would need to be in it with his visor,
Yeah. Oh man,
I
no,
would-
definitely
or a Reading Rainbow shirt.
both.
Uh,
Just singing, reading Rainbow in the background with a ukulele. That's it.
We were watching
Because I get that song stuck in my head all the time.
we were watching Jeopardy the other day, and one of the answers was something about the '80s and Rainbow, and the only thing I could think of was Reading Rainbow. I was wrong.
Man, was it Apple?
Huh?
Was it Apple?
No, it was nothing. It was nothing business related. It was
Okay.
actually a person. So that's why I was like, oh, LeVar Burton or Reading Rainbow or something like that.
Gotcha.
I don't remember. But back to Star Wars,
There you
not
go.
Trek or Roots or Jeopardy. We
So the
really
best
went
of
down
Star
a weird
Wars,
train.
the best of Star Wars are the books. I'm sorry, and I think Disney has proven that time and time again by not coming out with anything better than the books that were already published and thrown out.
Disney does know that they screwed up with the sequel trilogy. I liked The Force Awakens. I thought The Force Awakens was a great opening to the sequel trilogy. But the fact that they had no plan going into the second movie and they changed directors and the director wanted to go a completely different direction.
Yeah.
The only thing that Ryan Johnson asked J.J. Abrams to do was to bring BB-8 with him. Would bring BB-8 with her to Achu Island instead of R2-D2, which actually doesn't make sense because R2-D2 should have gone because R2-D2 was his.
Yeah.
But that was like the only thing that Ryan Johnson was like, hey, all I need you to do is give me BB-8, Rey, and Luke on the island, and I'll take it from there. And then if the third movie wouldn't have skewered so far off from the second movie, Ryan Johnson made some dramatic choices. I don't necessarily like them. I don't like the character Rose, and I think that people were really mean to the actress Maria, whatever her name is. It's not her fault that her character was terrible, and I'm sorry to the actress. The character was terrible. Finn should have died. Finn should have been able to commit suicide and literally save the Resistance.
Yeah.
But no, some random chick plows him out of the way to save his life. She saved his life, but how many countless other people died because he didn't die right there?
Well, she couldn't know that, though.
She knew that she knew that the only members left of the Resistance were in that cave that cannon was going to blow open.
Well, there you go.
So that's my biggest issue with
Shows you
the
how
last
much I paid attention
with
to
the
those
Last
movies, 'cause
Jedi.
I don't remember that at all. Maybe I didn't watch that one. Which was the one where they were doing the slow speed chase in space, where they kept flying ships back and forth from planets?
That was Rise of Skywalker.
That was dumb.
Yes, it was dumb, but they explain in The Last Jedi that the First Order had somehow come across something that allows them to track in hyperspace. Prior to The Last Jedi, you could not track through hyperspace.
I'm not worried about that part.
No. That's why they did that chase, because they would go into hyperspace and then out and in and out and in to try to lose them, but they kept getting tracked. So that's why they were doing that. I'm just trying to explain why.
No. But,
I agree, it was
but
dumb.
during the execution, both ships are flying at their full speeds. The ones just slowly getting closer, right? This whole thing, the whole fucking movie, slowly getting closer. The whole time, there are other ships flying away from these and going to planets and doing other things.
So I don't know what that you're talking about is.
What, like, okay, so on, like, Leia's ship, right? They kept having ships dock with them and then fly off to planets. That's not fucking possible. If the other ships couldn't catch up to them. That's like, that doesn't make any sense. It literally makes no sense.
You need to rewatch The Last Jedi because they what they were doing was taking the ships from the big ship and sending them down to the planet
and back. They were picking stuff up as they were going. Like, people were coming back.
No, they were going from. There was three.
Watch it again.
There was 3 rebel ships, and 2 of them were running out of fuel, and they were all coming to the one.
Right. But I'm talking about the people that came from the planets. Like, they sent people off to a planet, and they came back.
Oh, that's that terrible storyline. That's the Rose.
Just saying, it happened.
No, that storyline. That is my second thing I hate about that movie.
It didn't make any damn sense.
That storyline made no sense at all. No, now I know what you're talking about. When they go to the casino planet.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that story was terrible. And wasted Benicio del Toro. Honestly, he's such a better actor than the 5 minutes of screen time that he got.
Yeah.
But if they wouldn't have switched J.J. Abrams. I guess the third director was supposed to be Colin Trevor or Colin something. I guess his script was based off of The Last Jedi, and it did a lot more for the characters. Like Finn was supposed in the third movie, 9th movie, however you want to look at it. He was actually supposed to lead a rebellion of stormtroopers. And instead, in Rise of Skywalker, we got him on horseback with 4 former female stormtroopers, and one of them might be Lando's kid. That was horrible.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. I like the character Finn. They could have gone a lot further with him. I hope that John Boyega will change his mind and be in the Rey movie. I would love to see him as a Jedi Knight teaching at Rey's temple. And Poe. I love Poe. Poe is probably my favorite character from the trilogy.
Yeah.
Or from the sequel trilogy. Right ahead of Rey. And mostly just because Daisy Ridley is hot. I liked Daisy Ridley so much that when Force Awakens came out, we named our guinea pig Daisy.
There you go. But I don't know. A lot of people shit on the original sequel, prequel, whatever, the one that came out when we were teenagers.
Yeah, the prequel trilogy.
But these movies today are way worse.
Oh, these ones,
I don't understand how they managed to do that.
And what you're going to get with this trilogy, especially with Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni fixing it, you're gonna get the people who are younger than us that grew up. They didn't have the original series. They were like slightly younger than us, like my sister's age. They grew up on the prequel trilogy, so that's their Star Wars.
Watch it in order.
Yeah, those people like the Star Wars movies.
Oh, there's Orangey. Neighbor's cat.
Oh. They like those movies. They don't have the anti-movement feelings towards them that we have, and they're expecting that in another generation, 20 years from now, the kids who saw the movies. The first Force Awakens, Last Jedi, and Rise of Skywalker, the 10 to 15-year-olds who saw those in the movie theaters, when the next trilogy sequel comes out, they're going to love this one because that's what they grew up with.
Yeah, the only problem with that theory would mean that people actually went and saw them in the theater. And I don't think anybody brought their kids because they were just not worth it.
They broke records, dude. Everyone saw them.
Yeah,
everyone saw them.
That's just the generations of nerds up to this point. There's no way I could get my kids into them. It's just not happening.
But if you would have taken your eldest son to see The Force Awakens in 2016 when it came out, he would have only been 6.
He wouldn't have given a damn.
Yeah, he would have.
Even if it was now, he's 12. He would not give a damn. If
See,
a new Star Wars movie came out today that was going to start off a new trilogy and freaking Baby Yoda was in it and everything was great.
Well, we're supposed to get at least the Dave Filoni movie, if not. There's a lot of people hoping that.
I just don't see this generation really giving a damn.
I think. Well, and with us too, when our parents decided they were going to see a movie, we had no say. We were going to see the movie with them, whether we wanted to see it or not.
Yeah, no.
And and we and I remember being told to shut up or I wouldn't get popcorn or soda. And if I was acting up in the movie, so I saw movies that I didn't want to see, but I got popcorn and soda. I don't remember what the movies were. I do, however, remember being 4 years old and seeing the premiere. Maybe I was 5. I went to the movie premiere of Tremors.
Oh, nice.
As a 5-year-old.
That's amazing. Though.
I love that movie now. I was terrified to shit when I was a kid. But the as a kid, 9:00 at night. Oh, we're gonna drag you to see the scary movie. Oh, by the way, every 3 minutes you're gonna have to cover your face because you don't want to see the blood give you nightmares. Because you had nightmares when you saw Pet Sematary a year ago.
Yeah, that makes sense. Pet Sematary makes sense to not show a fucking kid.
Tremors
does not. If you hadn't seen Pet Sematary first, Tremors would not have bothered you as much. I guarantee it.
What bothered when I was whatever year it came out. I was born in '83. Whatever year that it came out, I remember going to the premiere because back before they used to have really good shit when you go to the premieres. I got a square pin that said Tremors on it. It was basically the poster, but in pin form.
That's cool.
And I loved it. I had it for years.
That's some flavor.
It was. I remember that my biggest issue with the movie when I was a kid was when they found the dude's head in the ground.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Everything else was nothing for me.
No, that makes sense. I don't know. I have a different perspective.
Same scene. But the sheep guts everywhere. Same scene.
Yeah, it's just sheep guts. By the time I was that age, though, I had seen a boar beheaded and like stripped in front of me and bled into a bucket that we had hunted. So
Shawn didn't have a normal childhood. No, he did grow up in the Central Valley, but apparently he grew up with murderers.
I grew up in Florida. Like I moved out here when I was 12.
I
thought we're talking.
I thought you were out here so you were like 6 or something.
No.
Oh, so
I come out here on the I'd come out here on the summers to stay with my grandparents.
Oh, okay.
For like 2 or 3 like a month and a half maybe, and then I'd fly back to Florida.
So he's from Florida.
Yep.
Where there are more murdery in Florida. So, you know.
Almost definitely. But it's also a lot more fun because you get gators and actual largemouth bass to fish. Fishing is better.
I don't fish. Fishing is boring.
Not when you smoke weed.
You're sitting there with your thoughts for far too long, and right now my thoughts aren't very pleasant. Which is one of the reasons I'm doing this video, to make my thoughts pleasant.
There you go.
I'm trying to think pleasant thoughts while recording this. He's not making it easy.
Fishing is easy to think pleasant thoughts because there's nobody else out there. It's quiet, and you just roll a couple before you go.
I have tinnitus, so the quiet hurts. The quiet is painful.
The quiet is a bubbling river and all that shit that blocks out tinnitus pretty well.
But with Star Wars, I mean, the sequel trilogy is a mess. To be honest, my favorite Star Wars movie isn't even one of the Skywalker movies. It's Rogue One.
There's not even a Jedi in it.
There's not. No, and the series is the Mandalorian season 1, fantastic. Season 2, when they brought in Bo-Katan and the Darksaber, and then they started adding in all the Force stuff and everything, it started to go downhill. Just a little. It's still Mandalorian. It's still a good show. Boba Fett was Mandalorian season 2.5. But
I thought Boba Fett was great for what it was.
I thought Boba Fett was great for the last 3 episodes. Once Mando showed up, I thought it was great.
Wow.
And I like the actors in that show too. And I really wanted to like the Boba Fett show because I really like Ming-Na Wen. Her and I share a birthday, November 20th. Woo! I'll tag her in this. She'll never watch it. But I really liked her in it. But the first episodes were really slow. The flashbacks did not seem to make any sense with the story that they were telling. It seemed like they were trying to tell 2 different stories at the same time, and they should have just went, this is what happened with Boba after he came out of the Sarlacc pit, and this is what happened to Boba after he got his armor back.
It seemed obvious. I don't know. I really liked it. I didn't have any problems with it. I had more problems with Mandalorian season 2 because I don't remember a damn thing.
Mandalorian season 2 was that's where we got Bo-Katan.
Yep.
Frog Lady was awesome. That was Baby Yoda was eating the eggs.
Oh, okay. Yep, I vaguely remember that now.
At the first episode of season 2 of Mando, he kills John Leguizamo.
Don't remember that at all. I like John Leguizamo.
He's at the very first scene. He's the mob guy that tries to steal Mando's armor.
That's right.
But Mando turns on him and then he strings him up.
Yeah. And for me, like anything, and Timothy Olyphant's in the one episode, which is amazing.
Oh, Timothy Olyphant as Cobb Vanth is fantastic.
Yeah.
I want a Cobb Vanth show.
Yeah, or a movie. He'd be a good movie.
Or give us, you know what? Let's take from Star Trek, because I mean, Star Trek, Star Wars, they all borrow from each other. All science fiction borrows from each other. Let's take this. Let's do what Section 31 is. It's going to be a long trek. It's not a feature length movie, but it's bigger than an episode. Let's make a Long Wars episode.
So Picard again.
No. I'm not talking about a couple hours.
arc.
I'm talking about like a 90-minute movie type thing of Cobb Vanth and how Cobb Vanth became the Marshal of Los Plagos, or a 90-minute movie on what happened to the Los Plagos after Mando left and it became Freedom Town.
Yeah.
That's
That's all stuff they could throw in a video game too, though, and hopefully they will come out with a good Star Wars video game one of these days. I didn't mind the last one, but it was too much Dark Souls. Like, I don't like that style video game, so it kind of killed it for me.
The last game, I haven't played a Star Wars game in a while. The last game was, my understanding, was too hard, and honestly, I like.
Yeah, it's a Dark Souls style game. It's the kind that you break your desk.
Yeah, I like gaming, but I don't like losing. So even when I play, even when I play Skyrim, I put it on easy, just because I'm there to have fun. I'm not there to bang my head on the desk.
So I put Skyrim on normal, but only because I know how to be a god in Skyrim.
You've played Skyrim for
Enchanting
20
and
years. I've
blacksmithing.
played Skyrim 3-4 times.
Enchanting and blacksmithing.
And I've never
become a god.
And
That's
I've never beat it. Never tried to beat it, honestly.
Oh, yeah.
I don't play video games to beat them. I play them to have fun. I play Ark to build stuff. I play Minecraft to build stuff. There is a way to beat Ark. He knows how to do it because he's done it. I don't care
I have
though.
not, but I know there's a way.
You beat the monsters with the hats. That's all he told me.
No, that was a mod.
Okay, I don't. Then I actually don't have no clue how to beat Ark.
No.
But like even the Mario
You gotta go
games,
cave diving.
I've only even beaten one Mario game.
Well, that's an accomplishment, though. Mario games are kind of long unless you know all the little stupid things, but then you either looked it up, and what's the point of that, or you've already played it.
That's how I beat Mario 3. Is I did.
Oh, see, yeah.
I had the Nintendo Power magazine.
I won't count that as beating a game.
Her grandma still has the book with all the cheat codes from like 1992.
Nice.
That's our inheritance.
There you go.
But yeah, I'm hoping. And the one problem with it was Fallen Order, was it? Fallen Order. They don't have the ability to make it easy enough for somebody like me to want to play it. Is my understanding.
Yeah, that's it. That's the problem. Yeah. And it's
I love open world games. If I can walk around and do nothing, Grand Theft Auto is fantastic.
Amazing.
I love that you can go do missions and you can go do stuff if you want. But then you can also just drive around and run into cops and stuff like that. Not that I'm saying running into cops is okay, because I do back the blue.
But he's also saying if you go find a lady at night, you can get your money back afterwards.
Boom, bingo. And how that relates to Star Wars, I have absolutely no idea. Was Mark Hamill a voice in any of the Grand Theft Autos?
No, I doubt it.
Mark Hamill's been voicing a ton of stuff, including video games.
Yeah. No.
Love him as the Joker.
You were just talking about open world stuff. They are making a new open world Star Wars game and another of the one you just mentioned. I'm waiting for the Star Wars one. That should be cool. I liked the last MMO. Like, it was a lot of fun. If anybody else would play it, I'd play it.
He's talking to me. He's specifically saying, "Hey Scott, why don't you play this game? You've got yourself a nice little gaming laptop. Why don't you download this game? You probably already own it because you probably bought it when it was a download.
When it wasn't free to play.
Yeah, I probably bought it when it wasn't free to play, but I never played it. You know, Humble Bundle, not a paid sponsor. Humble Bundle is actually really cool. Every month they do like 3 or 4 different bundles. And years and years and years ago, I'm talking like, close to a decade.
Meow. Sorry, you keep going. I just saw Orangey again.
I don't know what to do with him. I'm sorry.
I like cats.
He's just randomly talking to cats now while we're filming. That's staying in.
That's fine.
I don't even remember where I was going. You're talking to cats really threw me off. You weirdo.
No worries. You're the one who owns a cat.
Yeah, and I talk to my cats at my house.
There you go.
That's not your cat.
No, but she comes to our front door and hangs out with us. The kids go out and pet him and play. And
Cat pisses
good
off the
cat.
dog.
oh yeah.
We're 30 minutes deep in a general conversation about Star Wars that I'm relatively sure was about 40% Star Wars and 60% everything else. Any final thoughts on Star Wars before we call it a wrap and we do an Ahsoka video later this week? And
I think that's good. I again, like I said, I wish they hadn't thrown out, especially the new Jedi Order books. Like, I know there's a lot of books, but the specific, I think there's 19 of them, or 13, I don't remember, were my favorite. They came out in the span of, I think, 3 years, from like 2000 to 2003 or something. So they're nice because they write those damn books fast, which I like, as opposed to nowadays, you get, one book every 6 years from somebody.
Actually, if you haven't been paying attention, Star Wars has been releasing a book about every 3 to 6 months.
Yeah, that sounds about right for Star Wars. But are they hitting their multiple authors as well, like they used to?
Yeah,
like
I think
R.A.
so.
Salvatore and the rest of them. Okay.
Yeah, they're actually doing a really good job. And if you like comics, unfortunately, comics are expensive. But if you like comics, Marvel is doing a really, really, really good job of filling in the gaps in the comics. They're doing a little bit of what Dave Filoni is doing. The Kylo Ren series told us how he went from Ben Solo to Kylo Ren, gave us a backstory about the Knights of Ren. It had some good information in it. I think the comic books and the books in general both do give more information than the movies do.
Yeah.
And
they do.
They're definitely worth reading if you have the time and money.
Well, in the comics, speaking of the comics, one of my favorite storylines is in the Star Wars comics is about Luke's grandson, and if I remember correctly, he's a spice addict. I don't remember the exact drug, but I think it's spice. It's a really good storyline. Like, he basically, every time he does it, he doesn't have to see Luke's Force ghost anymore, and it's amazing.
So, Grandpa's haunting him, and he's getting high, so Grandpa won't high. That's awesome. I need to read that comic series. Yeah, that sounds awesome. And with that, you guys go check out that comic series too. Go check out the Ahsoka show, because we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about Loki at some point. Marvel. Yeah, Marvel stuff. Marvel's comes out in November. We're going to go see that movie. We'll give you guys a video on that. Let us know in the comments what else you want to hear us talk about. Tell us what we got wrong. Tell us how stupid the idea of Darth Jar Jar is, or tell us how awesome the idea.
It is stupid, but it's also amazing at the same time.
Tell us how amazing it is. Tell us how dumb it is. Tell us how dumb we are. Tell us how amazing we are. Whichever one you like. Say something down below.
Everywhere in between.
Yeah, tell us you guys suck. Whatever, I don't care. Just say something. Like the video though, or dislike it. One of those clicks does something for the algorithm. I don't know what. I'm new, but do something down below, and maybe click one of these things around us that shows another video. But you guys have a good day. Live long and prosper.